वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रत्ना मंदिर मनोहर वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रत्ना मंदिर मनोहर वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर अमृत कालिंदी राजहंस केळी कोरे काहे शोभे कनक कमाल मध्ये हिमपीठ अष्टधळे बेसीत अष्टधळे प्रधान नायिका तारामध्ये रत्नासरी बोसियाचे दुई झणे श्यामा संगे सुंदरी राधिका वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर रूपालावण्य राशि अमीय परिचे काशी हास्य परिहास संभाषणे रूपालावण्य राशि अमीय परिचे काशी हास्य परिहास संभाषणे नरोत्तम दासा कोई विद्या लीला सुखावोई सदै सुरुक मोरा माने वृंदावन रम्य स्थान विद्या चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सगता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं जय श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा रघुनाथान्वित जय श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नायष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गोरतिसे नमः नमो ब्रह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगं लङ्घयति वंदे श्री गुरु दिनसारिणं श्री परमानंद माधव श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वर ओम पवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थां गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुंडरीकाक्षं सा बाह्य अभ्यन्तरं शुचे श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु हे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Hare Krishna, dear all our devotees, thank you for joining today's session. First of all, I'd like to thank Sri Gopal Prabhu for kindly hosting today's Bhagavatam session. And thank you, Lilananda Prabhuji and Praveen Prabhu, who has given me this opportunity to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam. Although I am not qualified to enough to speak about Bhagavatam, I will try to be in the boundaries of what Prabhupada has spoken, what our senior acharyas has spoken, what the other devotees has spoken. If there is anything wrong which I am speaking, please forgive me for all the mistakes which I commit, which I commit today. Whatever there is whatever good thing I have spoken, it's all credit goes to the parampara and Krishna. I seek all of your blessings so that I can speak the Krishna Kada as it is. Huh? Let me share my screen. So today we are seeing the chapter 5th of the third canto, where Vidura's talks with Maitreya are described. So in this chapter we have around 51 slokas. So Praveen Prabhuji has asked me to take the Ekadashi session as well, to continue that session as well. So at what I plan is, today I speak half of the maybe 20 to 25 slokas today, and remaining 20 to 25 slokas on the Ekadashi day, which is on 17th. So in this first few slokas, we will see what are the questions which Vidura posed. The next session, we will see what are the answers which Maitreya gives to Vidura in response to his questions. So earlier in the fourth chapter, what we have seen is Sri Krishna meets, sorry, Uddhava meets Krishna. So Uddhava meets Krishna. So there was a discussion, there was some discussion between Uddhava and Krishna, where all Yaduvamshis, they depart. We know all inside the Prabhasha Kshetra. They depart to their heavenly their own respective abodes when the entire Krishna Lila is finished. So Krishna decides that all the people go back to their own respective positions and the Lila is performed. Only Uddhava has a fortune to meet with Krishna at the end. So then, by dint of his own karma, Maitreya, wandering in the forest, meets Uddhava and Krishna. Uddhava. So when Maitreya inquires various things with Uddhava, then the discussions happen, and at the same time, in one of the at the later stages, Vidura also meets Uddhava. So when Vidura also inquires with Uddhava various questions about Lord. So when devotees join together, what they discuss is about the Krishna. Prasparam Bodhayantama. So Uddhava instructs to Vidura that Krishna has instructed Uddhava to direct Vidura to meet Maitreya Rishi. So if there is everything orchestrated by Krishna for meeting of Vidura with Maitreya. That was all the things which I have seen so far till the fourth canto, for the fourth chapter. So in this chapter, we'll see what are the talks happening between the two when they started discussing. So further, so we'll read the sloka for the first verse, and after that we'll see what are the translations and briefly discuss about the purpose. So text 1. Sri Sukam Vacha. Varidyo Nandya Rishabha Kurunam Maitreyam Asinam Agadha Bodham Shattopashatrayachyuta Bhava Siddha Papracha Saulishya Gunabi Trapta. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Sukdev Goswami said, Vidura, the best among the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of the celestial Ganges river Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great fathomless learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura who was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him. What does Prabhupada say in the perfect? Already, Vidura was an unadulterated devotee. Who was Vidura? We all know Vidura was Yamadharmaraj himself, who was cursed by Manduka Muni, which we see in later sloka. So, the Yamadharmaraj is one of the 12 Mahajans who know about Krishna, Krishna. So he is another. He's an unalloyed devotee. So here, what Prabhupada says that the Lord and the devotees, the Lord and the living entities are all qualitative one by the same nature, but the quantitatively, Krishna is the Lord is the much more higher. So there are many people who say that we are equal to God. In one sense it is correct. We are all equal to God in quality. By qualitatively we are equal, but quantitative wise we are not equal. So that is Achintya Abheda philosophy, which Chaitanya Prabhu has clearly explained. God Himself has explained. Just like gold, the golden chain and the gold mine are not one and the same in quantity, but qualitatively they are both golds. Similarly, we are qualitatively one with the Lord, but quantitatively we are minute. So the difference between the Lord and us is He's infallible, Achita. He never falls under the Maya. So whenever he comes to this material world, he performs his lila. He is not bound by the three modes of the material nature. But we living entities, when we are in this material world, we have a tendency to enjoy this material world. We are bound by these three modes of the material nature. We are fallible. Individually, we are fallible. But what we have to do? So when we associate with the Lord and His devotees, we get the same quality revived. We do not we have that quality, but we forgot it. It is masked somewhere. So when we associate with the devotees, we get our quality back again. So in every activity of life, we have to remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. We have to dovetail our relationship with Krishna. This is what is called Chitta Bhava. Always remembering Krishna and linking everything in with Krishna. So this is legitimately absorbed in the devotional service. This stage of life is called Achita Bhava Siddha or perfection. How can we get perfection? By devotional service. So anyone, therefore, who is absorbed in devotional service of the Lord is liberated soul and has all the admirable qualities. All the devotees of the Lord Krishna has the same qualities. So similarly, the Maitreya and Vidura also have the same qualities. The text too, the translation. Vidura said, "O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor mitigation of the desires. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please, therefore, give us directions on how one should live for real happiness." So, when I was reading this purport, it was like as if it was speaking to me. So, we are all engaged in fruitive activities. What are those fruitive activities? Any action which we do results in some fruits. There are some result. Either it is favorable or unfavorable. Desiring enjoyment or suffering distress from these results is called fruitive activity. So we all do some activities seeing that end result in this. What am I going to get after doing all these things? So all the Vedas also say the same thing. You do this yajna, you will get this benefit. You do this vrata, you will get this result. These are all also at the fruitive activities. But it's a pious activity. There are impious fruitive activities as well, which are like meat eating, all those things. But there are pious activities, fruitive activities like following the Vedic Vedas. Why we do all these things is we want to be happy. People say life is to enjoy. One life is to enjoy. We have to be happy. What are we doing? Anything we see, anything activity, we see happiness in that. It's natural. Otherwise, why would we do something if it doesn't give you happiness? But what happens when we do in the when we search happiness in these material activities, with these fruitive activities, we do not get any satiation. So it is like desire. When we think that when we satisfy our desire, it goes away. But no, it is like putting oil, ghee inside a fire. It blazes. There is no satiation. Though we get, even though we get happiness, there is no mitigation of our own distress. Why? There is a fear of losing that happiness. Because anything in this material world is temporary. So all the happiness which we are getting is temporary. There is a fear of losing what all happiness which we have. So by all these fruitive activities, we never get satisfied, or we cannot go away from this stress. Some people take to the alcohol or movies, but we can forget the distress only for few hours. But after that, distress is going to come again. So, on the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. So when we take this alcohol, all those things, what happens? But temporarily we may forget the distress, but we are creating another distress. We are spoiling our bodies, spoiling the livers, especially spoiling our spiritual life. This is more aggravated. We are going to take more and more births. Whether it is, we do not know. Normally, a materialistic person do not know what is going to take, what birth is going to take in the next life. Maybe a dog body or a cat body or a worm inside a stool. These are all aggravated activities. So we are wasting our human life for small pleasures. We are trying to comfort ourselves. We are trying to adjust our situations when there is any distress. Please, therefore, that's why Vidura is asking, give us these directions on how one should live for happiness. So we have seen, so we have almost in every class, we have so much, we are doing all the 16 rounds. We are thoroughly convinced that this place is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, and where is our real happiness? We are all convinced it is all in the shelter of the Supreme Lord and Sri Guru. There is no other place where we get happiness. So people like me, if we are confident that Guru and Krishna is the source of happiness, don't we think that Vidura knows that? Vidura is a pure devotee. He knows all these things. But why he is asking a way? So what is the way for real happiness? He could have asked directly. Vidura is a devotee. Vidura is a devotee. He could have directly gone to Krishna Katha. But why he is asking? So in 2023, people like me waste our time in fruitive activities. So we are taught so many things, so many ways not to have the materialization. But at the 10th offense of the holy name is we are maintaining material attachments even after knowing that what is the capacity of the Hare Krishna mantra. We all have that material attachments. So for people like us, Vidura is asking this. This is the humility of a pure devotee. It is not only for their own benefit, it is the benefit of the whole world. They ask questions. Like Arjuna was baffled in the Kurukshetra war. Krishna devotee is not in a bewildered state, but Arjuna, for our own sake, he is representative of all of us. Similarly, here Vidura is a representative of common man like us. It's a natural humility. Text number 3. Translation. Oh my Lord, great philanthropic souls travel on the earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to show compassion to the fallen souls who are averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord. So, when fruitive activities results in vain, after a prolonged vain and successful, there is a stage called philanthropy, where people tend to give everything. They do some social activity, distribute some books, distribute some chadar, all those things. Yes, these are all pious activities which we should not leave. Yesterday, one brahmachari was saying, so as a grahastha dharma, we live in high-rise buildings. What is our dharma? So we have to feed the poor, feed the beggars who are feed the people who are dependent in the family. All these things we have to do. This is a philanthropic activity. This is a pious activity. Bhagavad Gita says one should be pious in order to come to the stage of Krishna consciousness. Only a pious person can go to the Krishna consciousness. Although Krishna consciousness doesn't depend upon what stage we are, whether we are fallen, we are actually fallen, whether we are impious or pious. But pious life helps us in Krishna consciousness. But the greatest philanthropic activity is showing compassion to the fallen souls. We are separated from our eternal father and mother. So showing the compassion on the fallen souls means showing that direction going back to Godhead. This is the highest philanthropic activities which great devotees like Vidura is doing. There are so many sannyasis, sannyasi Maharaj in our ISKCON. They are traveling here and there. Why they are doing that? Why Prabhupada has gone to the West is for showing compassion on the fallen souls like us. To be obedient to the wishes of the Supreme Lord is the natural position of every living entity. Divya Sarubohi, Krishna Nityadas. We are all Dasanudas. So, as a servant, what is our duty? To be obedient to every instruction of the Supreme Lord. But due to our vast misdeed, a living being averse to the sense of subordination. So, somehow or the other, we have rejected that subordination and we are suffering in this material world. Therefore, any activity other than transcendental loving service to the Lord is more or less rebellious action against the supreme will. Some people ask, philanthropy, altruism, what is wrong in that? They are doing good to the society. They are distributing so many things. Selflessly, they are doing. At least they are not doing anything bad. Aren't they sufficient? Should we do all this bhakti? Here the Prabhupada says, anything less than loving service to Krishna is rebellion. So anything against Krishna's will is impious. Anything bad, anything good or bad in this material world is both bad, is bad. So what we have to do? We have to do all these activities, all these pious philanthropic activities in relation to Krishna. So if you want to distribute meals, distribute prasadam. If you want to distribute some books, we can distribute the literatures. If you want to distribute some knowledge, is Krishna conscious knowledge, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So any all these pious activities we can dovetail to Krishna, that we can do. But all those pious activities without Krishna in the center is rebellious activity. The great unalloyed devotees of the Lord are compassionate towards the fallen, and therefore they travel all the world with the mission of bringing souls back to the Godhead. Parivajak Acharya. Parivajak Acharya means who goes here and there only to lead all of the fallen souls back to Godhead. Text number 4. Therefore, O great sage, please give me instruction on the transcendental devotional service to the Lord, so that he who is situated in the heart of everyone can be pleased to impart from within knowledge of the absolute truth in terms of ancient Vedic principles, delivered only to those who are purified by the process of devotional service. So we all know Krishna sits inside all over her heart as Paramatma. He is the one who gives the knowledge, everything. But when does he give us the knowledge? What directions he gives us? The most capable transcendentalist is a pure devotee of the Lord, who is without any tinge of fruitive actions. Jnana, karma, and other yoga systems, they don't purify our heart completely. Although they are not unauthorized, they are authorized paths, but they cannot purify our heart properly. When our heart is not purified properly, we cannot hear the word of Krishna. We can. Krishna is sitting so close to us. He's trying to speak to all of us. Why are we not? Why are we not understanding him? What is the difference between a pure devotee and us? Is our hearts are completely dirty. Eto darpana majanam bhava mahat avagni. So our mind, completely dirty. So we have to purify that to understand what is inside us. When we chant the holy names, we become a pure devotee. Then whatever Krishna speaks as Paramatma through our heart, we can understand. So that's what he said, Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satati yuktana bhajatam priti purvakam. So only when that Lord is satisfied with the devotional service of the devotee does he impart knowledge as he did for Arjuna and Uddhava. So so all the knowledge should lead us to devotional service. Just like His Grace Lilananda Prabhu says, he was instructed. So we all wanted to do Bhakti Vaibhav. But Radhesham Prabhu said, no, don't do that Bhakti Vaibhav now. After Bhakti Shastri, we all have to do at least 2 to 3 years of service. Otherwise, what will happen? The knowledge, the certificate which we have got becomes a burden on us. So our knowledge gets inside our head, but not inside our heart. When it gets inside our head, what happens? Ego boosts up. The knowledge should go inside our heart. And how that is go? By devotional service. So only then Lord can be satisfied. By that way, He can instruct all of us. So how does the service start? Jihve. Devonmukaye jihvado. So the seva begins with our tongue. Eat prasadam, chant the holy names of the Lord, speak the glories about Krishna. After many paths, when such a non-dualist comes to the sense that Lord is worshipable and the devotee is simultaneously one with and different from the Lord, then only he can surrender. So there are many people who say that Paramatma and Atma inside the body is one and the same. There is no difference between Atma and Paramatma. We are all gods. So they cannot understand the duality. They say only one. So as long as we think like that, we cannot surrender to them, surrender to it. We think I am God. But Achintya Veda Abheda philosophy, what does it say? That there is Paramatma and Atma, and Paramatma is the highest. We should surrender to them. When we are clear on this, we can start surrendering to Him. Text 5. O great says, kindly narrate how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the independent, desireless Lord of the three worlds and the controller of all the energies, accepts incarnations and creates the cosmic manifestation with perfectly arranged regulative principles for its maintenance. Here Vidura is asking, how does creation happens? So we are also eager to know how this creation happens. Many scientists wants to know how this creation happens. So Krishna doesn't want any creation actually, but why he is doing it? It is not for his own desire. It is for our own refinement. So just like state creates